A big what's up to everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody has had a good week. Today we are going to be talking about the Ben Simmons dilemma and the fallout after the James Harden trade. So as we all know, Ben Simmons has been in a lot of trade talks recently and packages that the Sixers were going to give the Rockets for one James Harden. This has been going on since the beginning of the season, and it culminated into a big high pressure point this week when we were very close, or supposedly according to the media, we were very close into trading Ben. Now obviously that did not happen. James would end up on the Brooklyn Nets, creating another super duper slooper team. Slooper. A lot of the fallout afterwards, a lot of Philly fans and a lot of Philadelphia media were spewing out a lot of Ben Simmons slander. And I won't say that some of it isn't warranted, but very emotional Ben Simmons slander. So why? Because we're Philadelphians, silly, and we love running our superstars out of town. So I'm gonna keep it a bean. I thought this trade was a done deal. I had come at peace and was actually looking forward, to James Harden becoming a Sixer. When it didn't happen, I was low-key relieved, as I am emotionally attached to Benny 1 point. But many Sixer fans weren't. Let's get into it. So the current Sixer fan civil war, whether to keep Ben Simmons on the team or not, began after our game against the Heat on, I want to say Tuesday, where he played a very poor game. I agree. People are just tired of him not scoring the ball at a high volume. They're tired of his offensive game being predictable, especially with the drive and kick, as well as him not taking open jump shots. I am too. It's very fashionable between the memes, his cockiness, and our expectations of greatness to call Ben Simmons trash, when the facts are the only thing he doesn't do is score at a high volume. That's just a straight fact. Now, obviously, in today's game, scoring the ball has to be one of the most important tools in an NBA player's repertoire, at least the high caliber superstar type players. Steph Curry has changed that. Him taking 40-foot jumpers as if they are layups has changed the way basketball fans view the game. I am a Ben defender, and I probably will be until he gets traded, but I'm not stupid. I'm not blind. Point blank period, Ben Simmons needs to garner some sense of offensive threat that he can give NBA defenses to keep them honest. If they are scared of Ben Simmons shooting the ball, they're not going to know who to guard. We have shooters all around the floor, as well as Joel Embiid down in the paint. That'll be hard to stop no matter what comes our way. Ben Simmons' ability to shoot the basketball will be the key for the Philadelphia 76ers to win a championship in the future. That is the Ben Simmons dilemma. Now, if you do trade Ben Simmons, the best compensation for him is someone like a James Harden, a top 5 NBA player right now, MVP candidate, and a scoring champ. That is comparable compensation for a Ben Simmons, a top 5 playmaker and defender in this league. I'm not trading Ben for a sack of potatoes and some chips because he doesn't score at a high volume. That's asinine, especially when he does everything else to a uber level. And I'm not even saying this. Everybody knows. Ben is so good that his biggest flaw is a thing that is holding him back to becoming one of the greatest players of all time. Now, if he can get that, flaw fixed, we have yet to see. But let's not act like this boy is trash when his value can net you a former MVP, 6 All-NBA first-team selection, a 6-Man of the Year, 8-time All-Star, and 3-time scoring champ. Stop it. Look, the boy needs to score. He needs to be more aggressive. He needs to draw more fouls. He needs to increase his free throw percentage. This can slowly increase his point per game totals and can take him from 12 points per game to 20 points per game. The simple things. Regardless, and this is the point where I get so annoyed with a lot of Sixer fans right now. What he does for the team in totality makes up for it for the most part, at least during the regular season. That is what a lot of people forget. Ben Simmons creates points without shooting the ball at a high clip, at a high rate. And you don't just give up on that without the best possible return for him, not trading him just to trade him. And at the very least, seeing what we have as a collective for the playoffs. We were rolling before what hit. We were 7-1. There's always some drama. So, I mean, let's just call him what he is. The great offensive facilitator with an elite level basketball IQ and defense. A unique player in his own right. And we have him. He's a damn defensive player of the year candidate right now at 24 years old. Let's stop undervaluing certain attributes because they aren't the sexy category. And overall, his selflessness, the fact that he wants to be a team first player. You really can't find that in the NBA nowadays. He's literally hearing all of the chatter around him, and he still is giving open looks to everyone else. That feeds off on players on our team and creates more cohesiveness, camaraderie, and overall chemistry. Because if you really look at it, a lot of the shots that Toby and Seth, our main offensive contributors behind Joel, get is when Ben gets them the ball in a shooting position. Before his diagnosis, Seth Curry was having a career year shooting the ball. And that's saying something for the man who holds the record for the second highest three-point percentage in NBA history. You don't think Ben has something to do with that? And look at Tobias's smooth play on the court right now. A lot of that has to do with Ben getting them the ball in perfect position, bro. Like, we need to stop undervaluing certain attributes just because they aren't sexy and just because we don't see it. And this brings me to my next piece. Swapping Ben for a Bradley Beal or a Zach LaVine is not going to increase our championship odds significantly. Like, realistically, how is that going to increase it to where we are guaranteed a championship more than if we kept Ben and grow our team? Tell me in the comments right now. Now, first off, I'm not sitting here trying to make it seem like I'm calling Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine trash. Don't start that. Like, please don't, because that is not what I am saying. I can see how one can make the actual argument of trading Ben for a top 5 player in James Harden can actually take us to the championship. If James Harden was traded to the Sixers, we would be in championship contention, because he is a generational scoring talent, and Joel is Joel. With a job like the NBA, where most people make their bread by putting a ball in the hoop, there are 1,000 James Harden wannabes out there, one including Bradley Beal. There's only one type of Ben Simmons. Logically, for the best chance of success, I would rather go with the scarce product, which is inherently more valuable than the easily findable commodity, especially when our roster is crafted for his skill set. What am I not saying? We have shooters. Make it work. Bill doesn't do that by himself, subtracting what Ben Simmons brings to the table. If anything, adding Bill will take shots away from Seth and take shots away from Tobias. We have to start being clear in what we mean and clear in what we say. When we say Ben Simmons has regressed, hasn't improved, what hasn't he improved on? He hasn't improved offensively. He's a defensive player of the year candidate. How has he not improved offensively? Say that, and I'll agree with you. And honestly, looking at the context of this whole situation, it more so seems like Doc is telling Ben to facilitate the ball more than to score, to actually get Seth, Toby, and Danny Green comfortable in our offense heading into the playoffs. Under Brett Brown, it seemed like Ben had free will to do what he wanted with the ball, gave him free range to score, to do whatever he needed to do. Under Doc, it seems like Ben is actually implemented into his system game plan. Like, actually go and look at the old Doc interviews when he first came here. He is on record saying, I don't care how many points are scored between individual players. Look at it. This is public information. It's only game 15, 16. This is not the finished product yet. We have to be patient. My dad always told me growing up that Philadelphia fans were fair weather as hell, and now me coming into age and being a part of this community and fandom, I can definitely see it. But look at the damn tape. To a 50-plus win season as the team's new point guard. His impact on this game has far more to do with the offense that he generates than the offense he individually creates through scoring. Look, we can debate about this until the cows come home. There will always be Ben Simmons admirers, and there will always be Ben Simmons detractors, right? Like, that just comes with being a good player in the NBA. But I'm saying one thing to Philly fans: the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Now, maybe I can be wrong, but from what I see, keeping Ben right now, unless we get a top 5 player, is the best option. If we're going to trade Bulls just to trade them, let's trade Joel once he starts slumping. A lot of Bulls have been calling Ben a Rondo 2.0, and maybe right now that is true. Maybe right now in year 4, he is a 2.0 Rondo, but he still has room to improve. And Rondo has 2 championships. That's supposed to be a slight. I get it. People want everything now. I agree. Me too. I would love for Ben to be more of an offensive threat. That's not who he is right now. And the team is winning. Like, that's the big thing. The team is winning. I could understand all of this hate if we were 4-9, but we're 9-4. As Philly fans, we need to relax, dog. Like, it's annoying as hell, bro. Like I literally feel worse after getting on Sixers social media. We should critique our stars, and we do because we care. Many of these other sports towns could give 2 damns about their professional sports franchises. We care so much, and we know Ben has the potential to be great and that he doesn't always tap into it, which is why we are so emotional over his play. For the Bulls who don't like Ben Simmons, I empathize, and not even empathize. I feel you, bro. You're 110, 120, 176% correct about Ben's flaws. From a Ben stan, I am saying that you are correct about Ben's flaws, but that doesn't make him a bad player. We on the same team. We both want the Sixers to win. We all want to go down like Broad Street, bro. Like, dog, I'm kind of rambling at this point, but I missed the Eagles parade because I was in college, and that was one of the that is probably top 2 greatest regrets of my life. I want to experience the Sixers winning a chip, rubbing it in so many people's faces that the process worked. But before that can happen, we have to fix ourselves. We have to fix that Negadelphia attitude. What's the whole point of feeding into this underdog mentality if we're always miserable about the players, many superstar players that we have? And this is across all franchises, all the Phillies, the Eagles, the Sixers, the Flyers. Why do we self-indulge in misery all the damn time? Different doesn't always have to be bad. We can have nice things. It doesn't have to always be a Ben versus Joe thing or Joe versus Ben thing. That's why I created the Ben and Joe show, because the only way we are going to win is if we have our 2 stars work together. It's interesting how people forget that we were just swept 6 months ago when Ben Simmons wasn't on the floor against the rival Celtics. Think about that. We were swept, embarrassed, and as a result changed our whole team's makeup between the coaching staff, the roster, management, because Ben Simmons wasn't playing. How easily we forget. Ben does 9 out of 10 things elite. We need to stop focusing on the 10% that he needs to work on and can still get good at. Every player has their flaws. Every single player has their flaws. And there's only one championship team at the end of the year. So Ben, if you're listening to this, do not let these fair weather naysayer fans get into your head, yo. You are a part of the foundation of the process, and your accolades speak for themselves. With that being said, our success and opportunity to go down in NBA history for this team to be a dynasty falls on your shoulders, as it should. It's time for you to evolve and complete the prophecy.